Hello everyone, Jai Hind and welcome to the platform of StudyIQ IAS in English. My name is Bhanwar Singh, NDA 115th course and qualified civil services in 2012. And I welcome you on the platform. Now you must have known this that the government has blocked the Telegram, but what is the major reason behind it and what are the important things that we need to understand from this major step that the government has taken? That is all that we'll be discussing in this complete session. Now, over here, this was the preemptive platform block where the Ministry of Electronics and IT, that is MeitY, have blocked the popular messaging platform, that is Telegram, until 22nd of June. Now, this step had been taken for the safeguard of the examination or the retest of the NEET UG examination that will be conducted on 21st of June. And ultimately over here, this is very important because there is also one important feature that had been suspended. And it is this feature of the message editing that will be globally suspended in India for the existing posts which are there till 30th of June. So we will understand why this had been done. Very important because this had been done deterring the malicious syndicate seeking to sell the fake leaked papers under the names like, for example, the paper leaked NEET or the private mafia as well. Now, over here, this is very important because when it comes to NEET UG examination, so that was conducted initially on 3rd of May. But however, there were the paper leakage that happened and ultimately the exam was declared as null and void. That is, the exam was declared that there will be the retest that will be conducted, and ultimately over here this has been because of the deep structure leakages that were there in the multiple states including Bihar as well as Gujarat. Now, the core vulnerability that we are talking about is about the dynamic and the rapid proliferation of the anonymous online channels which shares the illicit content, and that is the one of the major problem that we are talking about right now. Now, when it comes to this particular thing, so prior to the complete block, what the government was doing was it was using the targeted URL blocks. Now, when it comes to the Telegram, messaging app, so over here, the automated generation of the new groups, bots, as well as channels, they have bypassed the standard surveillance protocol, and that was the reason why the government have blocked the Telegram, or it has suspended the Telegram till 22nd of June. Now, over here, this is also very important to understand that what is the another thing that had been blocked till 30th of June. So now you cannot edit your message after sending it. Now, what was happened or what could have happened afterwards? So there is the innocuous post that is made with the channel admin. They upload the simple text or the blank PDF as well hours just before the examination begin. Now, in the second step, what happens is that examination have started, and after the examination ends, so once the actual questions they become public, the admin can edit the old posts which are there, replacing the files with the real questions. Now, the thing is that you will see the old timestamp where the first innocuous post was made, and that is where the panic and the extortion may start, where the edited message retains the pre-exam timestamp, creating the optical illusion that there was a pre-examination leak that had happened through the Telegram groups. Now, there is Section 69A of the IT Act that is very important because it gives the power to issue the blocking directions, and this is the statutory backbone that we are talking about. Now, over here, there is a legal mandate which authorizes the central government to block the public access to any online information to preserve the public order as well as the state security as well. Now, this is used as just the measure of the last resort, where it is executed only when the platform is non-responsive, and ultimately it makes the narrow URL filters mathematically ineffective when this blockade is being notified or it is being used as the measure of the last resort. As well as there is procedural integrity, where the Supreme Court in Singh case in 2015 upheld the 69A of the IT Act, and ultimately it said that it provides a structural committee-based procedural safeguard, and that is why this article or this section was retained by the Supreme Court as well. Now, over here, this is very important because there is the complete cybersecurity and the encryption conflict that we are talking about. Now, over here, the Telegram stated that it does not store any comprehensive access logs, and ultimately that makes the retroactive investigation of the leak originators nearly impossible. There is also under the section 79 of the IT Act, the intermediaries, they lose the immunity if they fail to promptly clean any unlawful content that is available on that platform. There is also the global tech giants. They often prioritize that their ideological design, that is like for example end-to-end encryption, it is used over the localized state security, and that we have seen in various of the application including the WhatsApp as well, that uses the end-to-end encryption. And again over here there is a loophole, and that is the VPN. All right, now over here what can happen is that there is the direct block that limits the mass circulation. But when it comes to tech-savvy entities or even the players, even the candidates which are there, they can easily bypass the IP blocks, leaving the black market partially operational through the VPN hacks or by using the VPN the modules. All right, now over here it is very important that when it comes to the complete matrix, you can see that it will impact and there will be collateral damage that will be on the other citizens. Because when it comes to the complete blockade of the Telegram, it immediately have impacted more than 150 million of the Indians, the legitimate Indian users who rely on the platform. Now, the Telegram is majorly used for the educational purpose. There are the peer groups where we have the students of the UPSC, we have the students of the other examinations. They are using the Telegram for their research as well as for their educational purposes. There is also the professional communication and the low-cost digital business marketing that will be impacted by this blockade. Over here, when it comes to the CEO and the founder, Pavel Durov, he has criticized this move that had been done by the Indian government. And ultimately over here, he has said that it is basically the broad brush restrictions that are there to punish the ordinary citizens instead of solving the core systemic issues which are present to secure the physical paper storage facilities. Now, over here, this is also right, because when it comes to knives, we know that by using knives, we can cut our hand, right? When we are using the knives for cutting the vegetables or for anything, we can also cut our hands. But at the same time, we do not put a blockade on buying the knives. So ultimately over here, the major thing is that the government should work on securing the access to the physical paper if the examination is being conducted in the offline mode, and not to restrict the access, that is the right to access to the Telegram, that should have been done. Over here, if we can see that there had been the regulation or the regulatory period when it comes to the online activities or the messaging app. Like for example, in the past till 2015, in 2015, we had the landmark judgment of Singh. So before this, there was passive safe harbor model, and ultimately in Singh in 2015, there was the section 66A that was invalidated by the Supreme Court. But the procedural norms which are under 69A, they were actually strengthened. Then when it comes to the present right now, so you can say that there is the enforcement of the strict IT rules that require that there is chief compliance officer, as well as the automated content filters that should be there. Now, when it comes to the crisis right now that we are talking about in 2026, right now is about the state deploying the targeted platform block to mitigate the large-scale exam panic and the fraud networks which may utilize the platform of Telegram. At the same time, in the future, we must look towards the Digital India Act that will, replace the IT Act that we have right now, introducing the localized traceability as well as zero trust systems that must be, that must be there in the country, and ultimately the trust deficit that is towards the governance that could be removed by these processes. Now, there are certain judicial guidelines which had been, laid down by the Supreme Court. Now, over here, in the case of Anuradha Bhasin versus Union of India, the Supreme Court ruled that any kind of digital or internet shutdown, it must be necessary as well as proportional. Now, the center justifies the Telegram block is as proportional because it is strictly time-bound and it will be lifted after the commencement or after the exam had been conducted. That is on 21st of June. So this blockade will be lifted just right afterwards, and that is why the center have justified, or just center may justify its blockade attempt. At the same time, there is the intermediate takedown norms as well, which had been laid down by Justice K.S. Puttaswamy judgment by the Supreme Court, where it says that the right to privacy also include the data privacy as well. However, the state may restrict this data privacy under the legally sanctioned legitimate aim. And over here, the aim is to the integrity of the public competitive examination, and also to provide the equal opportunity under the Article 16 of the Constitution of India. So there are the legitimate claims as well as there are the safeguards which are in the place, and the government have taken these steps in the same manner. Now over here, what could be the way forward? All right, so that we do not see such kind of things in the future. So there should be zero trust exam infrastructure that should be created where the encrypted digital question paper distribution could have been implemented. Now, over here, the distribution could have been done directly to the centers through the biometric multi-factor authentication, which were to have removed any kind of the physical print chains as well. Now, there is the future level moderation that should be there where we should collaborate with the global developer community and the consortiums so that it will allow the precise temporary API freezes of the specific features like, for example, editing attachments during the national exam periods. Also, there should be a Digital India Commission that should be established, and also the Act, that is the Digital India Act, must be enacted where it should clearly define the high-risk platforms, and also it should require the stricter compliance and the local data sovereignty clauses that should be included in it. And there must be a decentralized cyber awareness where we must scale the I4C portal into a kind of easy single-click student reporting app where we can neutralize the online rumors in the real time as well. So these are the things that we must look forward when it comes to the data piracy, the data privacy, and even such kind of things that we have seen right now in India. Now, it is very important that when it comes to the progressive digital democracy, it must strike the complete balance or the harmonious balance that should be between the digital freedom, the technological sovereignty, and even the institutional integrity so that we can restore the public trust in the state's administrative apparatus as well. So with this note, I will take your leave. But if you are preparing for the civil services for 2027 or 2028 or for 2029, that is, if you are appearing for the examination next year or next to next year, so then you can enroll into the GS Foundation batches which are available on the platform of StudyIQ IAS. Now, on this platform of StudyIQ IAS, we are giving you the limited time offer of 50% off. And this offer is valid only till 18th of June. So you can enroll into the course, and not just GS Foundation course, you can enroll into any of the courses using the code BRS Live. And this code will fetch you the maximum discount, that is 50% on the application. At the same time, if you are encountering any problem, you can call us right now, all right, for any kind of counseling, any kind of guidance, and the number is 764000300. So that would be all in this session. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me over here on the platform of StudyIQ IAS. I will see you in the next video, but till then, please do take care of yourself. Also, do not forget to like the session, as well as share this session with your friends who are preparing for the civil services, or they want to know why the government has banned the Telegram and what is the major purpose behind it, and the statutory as well as the constitutional framework that could be implied. At the same time, do not forget to subscribe to our channel so that you do not miss any of the future updates. So that would be all. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me over here. Thank you and bye-bye. Jai Hind.